How could it be that I would value the opinion of Bill Maher when clearly so much about my life is the opposite of what Bill Maher's perspective on life is? Let me share with you the comment that I received recently that inspired this video. So I received a comment from HGGFHH. I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean. He said, "Did you say Bill Maher? You do not seem like the type who would watch Bill Maher to me," end quote. So let's sort that out. So let's kind of take a look at what Bill Maher and I don't have in common, okay? The most obvious one is that he's very much against the idea of religion. He believes religion is the cause of all the problems in the world, okay? And for me, if you know me at all, you know that I'm a Christian, and I take that very seriously. My family's involved with our church, and we tithe to the church. I mean, yeah, we're giving over 10% of our income to the church. I mean, we're involved. We believe. We see the world through that lens, and that's actually who I am as a person. So how could I respect Bill Maher, who is clearly one of the most outspoken, most famous atheists that exists? Well, it's like this. I can recognize that I can like all of these things about a person, yet disagree with one of their fundamental beliefs and still respect them, and still know that that thing that I disagree with doesn't change all the things that I do agree with. It's that simple. And I think in modern culture, especially with social media, what do people do? They say, oh, that person disagrees with me, then everything about that person, they're stupid, they're immoral, and they're wrong. And it's my job to tell them that, okay? But as you mature as a person, you realize, no, you're not going to change their mind. There's identity protective cognition that kicks in, which only reinforces what they already believe if you try to change their mind. So I accept that everybody in the entire world has a different opinion or belief about, compared to me, in some way, and I accept that. So I automatically assume, what does this person not agree with me on? And I'm not going to try to change them on that thing, but I'm going to celebrate what I can agree with them on. So for example, what can I agree with Bill Maher? Well, what I love is his common sense view on things. He's a liberal, but as a liberal, he's constantly calling out cancel culture, and I respect that so much. Now, granted, politically, he identifies as a liberal, but I would say he's more to the middle on being a liberal. For me, I'm more on the conservative side, but ultimately, we're probably closer to being libertarians when it really comes down to it, because we're able to look at both sides and see the folly in both. Both sides get some things right, but ultimately, I think he and I are more in the middle. Now, granted, I probably line up 100% with Ben Shapiro, the conservative Jewish, well, I call him a YouTuber, but he's got a podcast, obviously. So I'm more like Ben Shapiro. Bill Maher's over there. But either way, it's not a complete extreme difference. What we're recognizing is we can criticize both sides because our allegiance isn't to one side over the other. And that's a dangerous place to be when you demonize the other side for having a different perspective. Because again, everybody in the free world, even the people you are closest to, have a different opinion about something. And if you were to just focus on that and take away that person's value because of that, how silly would that be? And here on the internet, you'll see this too with Christians and atheists. Am I here to say atheists are horrible people? No, I'm actually here to say I believe we're all imperfect people. And I think so much of the meaning of life is to see that character arc and become better people despite what happens in life to us, and that we overcome that. So as far as someone being an atheist or a different religion, I don't think that they're a worse person than me. In fact, what I'd be most interested in is to get to know them beyond the fact that they're an atheist and connect with them on all the things we do agree with. I feel it's very juvenile to look at a person with a different viewpoint, whether it's religion or politics or dietary choice, and say they're wrong, immoral, stupid people. because they're different than me. You're only looking at one thing when you do that. It's a very juvenile concept to do that. So instead, whether it's Bill Maher or anybody else that would be an atheist or a different religion, or not be keto like I am, or whatever silly thing it is, why would I focus on what I disagree with them on? Because that's only going to create more tension, and it's only going to affirm what they already believe, which is the opposite of me. As you get older, and of course I'm a few weeks away from turning 40 now, as you get older you realize that it's actually all about building relationships, not tearing them down. Finding a way to bridge your relationship with other people that actually improves your quality of life, instead of just reinforcing tribalism and saying, this is my camp, these are my people, everyone else is an enemy. I don't see it that way. I see that we, like the show Lost teaches, ultimately we all are connected, and we want to find how to better be accepting of people. And yes, it's true for me, there are people all in the world, all around me, who morally believe and do things that I do not support. But do I believe that they shouldn't have the same rights as everybody else? No. Do I look down on them and think they're worse off than me? No, I believe that we're all broken people and we all need to be healed in our own ways. So for me, how can I connect with people? Because the truth is, if we're all being honest, we all morally disagree with other people. Not just certain groups of people, but all people. It's just a matter of whether we choose to focus on what we differ on. And instead, imagine this, what if we stopped focusing on what we disagree with people, did away with that, and then instead replaced it with, how can I relate to this person? How can I connect to this person? Instead of just name calling like a 5-year-old to this person, you're wrong, you're stupid, you're immoral. What if instead I thought, you're of value, I can actually learn something from you. We can actually be friends, and I can have a respect for you despite not agreeing with everything that you believe. And hopefully in a perfect world, which we don't live in, maybe that other person could see you as the same way. And just for the record, yes, I have friends who are atheists, and I have friends who are Muslim. I have friends who don't really care about religion, but they're not atheists. And yet they're my friends. And I have such a high value for them. And even if they weren't my friends, I would be happy to become their friend despite that. This is, to me, is very simple. Yet I feel that, especially in social media, it's the opposite, especially in what you see in the news. That's what you see. You see two sides at odds with each other. And maybe it's because I've never been a sports fan, but ultimately I think it's all arbitrary. Focus on what we agree on and not on what we don't. Your comments belong right here.